blissful gorgeous selves, my purpose of presenting this book, The True History of Humanity, is to acquaint and awaken the people of the whole world to its primordial, primal love for ancient heritage of the time when human beings were not divided in suffocatively packed faiths, cults, and religions of hating, hissing, and hitting, full of national and racial vanity and white supremacy over brown, black, red, and yellow compartments of animal turning and demon turning humanity. My dear friends, intergalactic culture, intergalactic lifestyle, and intergalactic civilization, or you can say Hindu Vedic Dharma embraced the entire globe as a common home, and all beings, even animals, birds, wildlife and vegetation life, astral life, aliens, and other planetary beings all lived as one family. When this civilization was in its height, there was interplanetary travelings. A section of Vedas is full of techniques to make different shapes, designs and powers of airplanes. My dear friends, this Hindu Dharma or Sanatan Vedic Dharma is the modern residual, primal, primeval name of that intergalactic culture of golden era of not only the Hindus but of whole humanity, whose goal was and still is to lead such a virtuous, glorious, angelic life with utmost care of social service that spontaneously lead to enlightenment. The true history of humanity is dedicated to the goal of freeing humanity from all kinds of terror, torture, tyranny, treachery, trickery, taxation and inquisitions and temptations of pseudo-religions, and unite them in one common, harmonious, homogeneous, peaceful, cheerful, helpful fraternity, my dear friends. This is the purpose of my writing and presenting you my book, True History of Humanity. Let us consider on these two prominent aggressive religions, Christianity and Islam. They have dominated the world during the last 1,000 to 1,500 years. Both of them imposed their dominance over the world public through terror, torture, tyranny, trickery, treachery, taxation and temptation. Yet both have suppressed all that history. History is an account of the past which should be the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. But history is approved and permitted to be taught in the current world dominated by Muslims and Christians may be described as suppressio veri and suggestio falsi. Okay? That is suppressing the truth and suggesting falsehoods. Let us examine Muslim history starting with Muhammad himself, who was founder of Islam. Muhammad was born in 570 AD and he is said to have founded Islam in 622 AD when he was in his 52nd year of age. Muhammad died in 632 AD. That clearly proves that Muhammad was a Muslim only for the last 10 years of his life. For the earlier 52 years, Muhammad himself was a non-Muslim. What then was his caste and religion and his name? Has the world been told about this? Does this not prove that the entire Muslim history, starting from the very non-Muslim name of Muhammad himself and his family, has been totally suppressed and obliterated, and a fake history has been concocted as its substitute? Christian history too is a fabrication, as can be judged from the very story of Jesus' crucifixion. Only a person guilty of rapes, murders and massacres would be sentenced to death by cruel crucifixion. Since Jesus is lauded as the holiest of the holy, how and why should he be sentenced to death by crucifixion? The above cross-examination of Muslim and Christian bluffs proves that both Christianity and Islam are deceitful impositions enslaving gullible masses from generation to generation. They are spiritual mass deceptions, my dear friends. Consequently, we were highly delighted and surprised to come across a holy man named Swami Yatindranand and Sri Ayodhya Prasad Tripathi, who boldly started writing his article by headline "Christianity and Islam are enemies of human race. Wipe them out for your own survival and dignity." Apart from falsifying the family history of Muhammad and of the terror, torture, inquisition role of Islam and Christianity, all Muslim countries throughout the world have banned the teachings and study of pre-Islamic history of converted regions. The UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, must compel all Muslim member nations to teach all history from the earliest times up to date. It is a pity and a tragedy that not a single UNESCO member country seems to be aware of the total ban on teaching of any pre-Islamic history of countries converted to Islam. That is an educational atrocity rampant in Muslim countries. If any person in Muslim countries dares to suggest that their pre-Islamic history too ought to be taught, he or she, not to talk of any she, will be burned alive and stoned to death. Okay. UNESCO ought therefore to pass a resolution that no Muslim country can be admitted as a UNESCO member unless it starts teaching its own pre-Muslim history and that of other Muslim countries too. All UNESCO member countries and their representatives must be made aware of this responsibility of theirs. To read the Rushdie's book, Satanic Verses of Quran, and delete the satanic verses from Quran. Same way, all Christians must read Hindu view of Christianity and Islam by Ram and also read Psychology of Prophetism by a Dutch author, and make desirable changes which can match with humanity and not barbarianism or animalism. Currently, all UNESCO member countries look upon UNESCO meeting only as splendid opportunities for foreign ladies and sex joints and drink and dance revelries. Its government expands. Remember this. This is situation. Yet another graphic proof of Islam's smothering all its pre-conversion history is the shrouding of the seven-storied Kaaba temple in Mecca city in Arabia with a gigantic black hood, which if pulled down, is likely to reveal a gigantic saffron-colored stone temple enshrining idols of presiding deity of forces of nature. Okay. Encyclopedia Islamica mentions under the Kaaba heading that the Kaaba consisted of 360 Vedic idols. The murtis, the deities of the angels, or you can say celestial beings who presided the forces of nature. So that is why none of the millions of Muslims who congregate at the Kaaba year to year is allowed even a glimpse of the gigantic Kaaba shrine hidden behind gigantic black curtains. That idols of 360 Vedic deities and goddesses are enshrined inside the gigantic Kaaba edifice is further proved by the fact that all modern day pilgrims, even after conversion to Islam, still adhere to their age-old pre-conversion Vedic tradition of taking a bath and then circumambulating the Kaaba shrine 7 times. That 7 figure too has a Vedic Hindu significance. Even in English parlance, one talks of the 7th heaven, which is the highest strata. In Vedic Sanskrit parlance, they are referred to as Saptadhav, the 7 strata. There is nothing in this world which is not Vedic or Sanskrit. There is nothing in this world which is not Hindu, not Sanskrit, because they have been a part of human civilization from the very first generation. Consequently, so-called Muslims ought to realize that the terms Muhammad or Ahmad, which they use as original names, are as proud suffixes or Sanskrit terms signifying a person with a inflated ego, Mo plus Mad, Muhammad, and Aham plus Mad, Ahmad. The Gita teaches, Krishna says, Dammo darpo bhimanascha, krodha parushyameva ajnanam chavijatasya partha sampadam asurim. And Bhavishya Puran describes Ucha lapi linga chedi, okay? The penis cutter and loud talker and full of vanity and hypocrisy and harsh word speakers and ignorant, not escaping from understanding the reality. This is the nature of people who possess demonic culture. Whosoever is like this must be labeled as ogres or demons or monsters. Islam is a malpronunciation of the Sanskrit term Ishalayam, signifying the divine shrine, namely the 7-storied Kaaba temple. Kaaba itself is a malpronunciation of the Sanskrit term Garbha, signifying the sanctum sanctorium. So-called Muslims would do well to recall their Hindu Sanskrit roots elaborated as I did. The same holds good for so-called Christians too. Both Muslims and Christians too ought to realize that they are breakaway groups of ancient Hindu culture. their Vedic origin will come as a revelation to Muslims the moment they pull down the black curtains covering the Kaaba and pay homage to the mighty Lord Shiva and those 360 natural forces deities. Okay. Encyclopedia Islamica mentions under its Kaaba heading that the Kaaba had 360 idols enshrined inside it. Compiler of that encyclopedia ought to be informed that those idols are still inside. Had they been pulled out and smashed, there was no need to hide the Kaaba behind black curtain and prevent entry to and inspection of that gigantic ancient temple. My dear friends, now let me lead you into the Vedic roots, Vedic origin of terminology of Islam. Currently, Muslim madrasas follow a curriculum which aims at instilling a convert or kill mindset amongst its people. That is from where IMS, ISIS and other Baghdadis or terrorists get their inspiration. So instead they ought themselves to realize that Islam terminology is all Vedic, Sanskrit, Hindu, aiming at creating and sustaining a world human brotherhood known as Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, meaning that all human beings on earth must behave and live as members of a single family. They must also realize to ensure that unity, that thinking offers from man to person, person to person, okay? What is pronounced as Islam is in fact Sanskrit term Ishalayam, meaning the abode of divinity. The 7-storied Kaaba temple in Mecca is that Ishalayam. Makkah, Medina and two cities, two cities 400 kilometers apart in Arabia are Sanskrit term Mak and Medini. This is completely pure Sanskrit, making the two ends of the land of fire worship. Means yajna, Mak means yajna, Medini means the land where the fire ceremony was performed on large scale. That landscape is called Makkah Medini, and now it is called Makkah to Medina on the landscape along the ocean. So because in Sanskrit the term Makkah signifies sacred fire, while Medini is the land, the region. So Arabistan, that is Arabia, is a malpronunciation of Sanskrit term Arabistan, signifying a land of pedigree horses, okay? Incidentally, Turkestan, alias Turkey, is Sanskrit Turkestan, also signifying a land of horses. The term Allah, like Amma or Akka, signifies a Vedic goddess, like Durga, Jagadamba, Bhagavati, Bhavani, Jagadamba, Bhavani. The Muslim invocation, Ya Allah, is further proof of Allah being the name of Vedic God and Hindu God. Since in Sanskrit parlance, Ya is a term signifying females, while Muslims have been wrongly believing Ya Allah to be a male invocation. The Muslim exclamation, Insha'Allah, is a Sanskrit Icha Allah. Icha Allah, meaning Mother Goddess willing, or let thy will be done concept of Christianity. It may be recalled that during British rule in India there used to be a highly placed Tamilian known as Ali Alladi Krishna Swami, okay? Ayyar. Ali Alladi Krishna Swami Ayyar, among Tamilians, once a native place forms a person's first initial. So Alladi was the native township of Sir Krishnamurti.